We have been talking about GAG molecules. Now let's take a look at some specific examples. The first example I'm going to talk about is hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid has some exceptions to it. It doesn't follow all the rules other GAG molecules follow. So let's take a look at the hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is the simplest of all GAG molecules. It consists of regular repeating sequences of up to 25,000 non-sulfated disaccharide units. So it's one of the exceptions to the GAG rules is that this molecule is not sulfated. Other GAG molecules are sulfated. Also, additionally, this molecule has repeating units of disaccharides. You can see those disaccharide units on your screen. Glucuronic acid and N-acetyl glucosamine. It is found in variable amounts in all tissue and fluids in adult animals, and it is especially abundant in early embryos. And hyaluronic acid is especially abundant in early embryos. On the screen, you can see the structure of these sugars that we have talked about. Here, for example, is the N-acetyl glucosamine, and this sugar is an amino sugar because of presence of this amine group. Also, I would like to point out that this linkage is the glycosidic linkage, the linkage which forms a bond between two sugar molecules. We have talked about glycosidic linkages in earlier course in more detail, but here these molecules are linked again with the help of a glycosidic linkage, and one of the sugars in this is an amino sugar. The other sugar, glucuronic acid, has a carboxyl group which gives this molecule a net negative charge, and we have talked about this earlier that GAG molecules are highly negatively charged molecules. All hyaluronic acid disaccharide units are identical. Its chain length is enormous. We have said that there are about 25,000 sugar molecules linked together, and it is generally not covalently linked to a core protein molecule. I'll put a note here. Other GAGs are synthesized inside the cell and released by exocytosis. We have seen how ribosomes just start making protein molecules which have to be secreted. They settle on the ER. The protein is injected inside, and then that protein is decorated with sugar molecules, glycosylated, and that protein is packaged in ER, sent to Golgi apparatus, and from there to the plasma membrane. So since these GAG molecules do not have a core protein, one of the reasons is that that's one of the reasons why they're synthesized outside the cell rather than being synthesized inside the cell. Hyaluronic acid is spun out directly from the cell surface by enzymes that are embedded on the surface of the plasma membrane. Hyaluronic acid is thought to have a role in resisting compressive forces in tissues and joints. We have already talked about compressive forces. These are the forces, for example, when you push against your skin, that's a compressive force. If you think about the amount of weight our knees carry all the time, it's fairly impressive that how much compressive forces this molecule can resist. Hyaluronic acid is also an important space filler during embryonic development, where it is used to force a change in the shape of a structure. So if hyaluronic acid is in a space, the first thing it does, being so hydrophilic, it will absorb a lot of moisture and water, and it will begin to expand the space. So this is one of the ways, one of the strategies body uses to create a space. And hyaluronic acid, in case of epithelial cells, is synthesized from the basal side of epithelium, which is used to create a cell-free space into which cells can subsequently migrate. For example, formation of heart and cornea and other organs also follow this strategy. Ultimately, the excess hyaluronic acid is degraded by the help of an enzyme called hyaluronidase, which basically degrades this molecule getting rid of extra material. Hyaluronic acid is also produced during the process of wound healing. It is produced in large quantities, and also, as I've mentioned, it is present in the joint. It basically, one of the purposes it serves there, beside resisting compressive forces, is it acts as a lubricant. See that joints, they have to move relative to each other, and unless there is a lubrication there, it will start to erode tissue. For example, the cartilage tissue or the bone tissue can get damaged that way. Ultimately, these tissues do get damaged, but one of the first defense against erosion of bone or cartilage is this particular molecule, hyaluronic acid. Many functions of hyaluronic acid depend upon specific interactions with other molecules, including both proteins and proteoglycan molecules, which basically are linked. Proteoglycan molecules, we'll talk about these molecules in more detail later on, but these are basically molecules in which sugar molecule is attached to a protein core molecule, and this attachment is covalent. We'll talk about these molecules in more detail in a later module. Some of these molecules that bind to hyaluronic acid are members of extracellular matrix, while other molecules which are interacting with hyaluronic acid are basically components of a cell surface. These are molecules which are embedded in the plasma membrane, and they're sticking out of the plasma membrane. Their extracellular domains basically interact with hyaluronic acid, which is present extracellularly.